get started. So, yeah, welcome to this session. Good evening, everyone. I'll be sharing one of the uh, CTF competition that I participated, and this is a web challenge that they presented. So it's quite interesting on how this challenge works. Basically, why I chose this challenge is because uh, when I participated in this CTF, it only left like 2-3 hours. So when I stumbled across this challenge, yeah, it's quite interesting. So yeah, let's get started. Uh, this is our agenda for today. So we'll be going through a little bit of theory lesson, not much, just two main concepts, which is the source code review and what is code crashing. Then basically we'll go through this CTL walkthrough. We'll do some code analysis on how we can crash the code and get the flag. And last part will be Q&A. Okay, so first we'll be going through the theory lesson. So what is source code review? So it's very direct by the name of it, which is you go through line by line of your code and do analysis of an application. So to see whether the code uh, is implementing secure coding or not. So if they are not applying the secure coding uh, this thing, then the code might be vulnerable to certain vulnerabilities. And code crashing. So code crash is uh, let's say there's an input of from an application and you put uh, some input that will crash the whole application. So we'll see later on. And yep, we'll be going through the CTL walkthrough right now. And let me show you. I have an instance ready. Do this. So let me rerun this. Okay, so I have a Docker here running the instance. Give it a second, then yep, it's up. So there, basically this challenge is uh, in one application has 5 flags. So they just tell you just to find a flag. Let me go through the code first. Uh, so initially only have this app. So let me show it here. Yeah, when you get the challenge, it will show like this only. So we have 5 file here that we need to go through, and I open it at here already. So um, for the server PY, we don't need to look at it that much because uh, it's not important at this challenge. If you go to account routes and just go through a little bit, oh, I shouldn't show this. We show the other one to have a better understanding. Yeah, if you go through the flag, oops, give me a sec. Copy here. Okay, share, share. Yeah, okay. I want to show the flag that is not the real flag. So you can see here, there's a fake flag here. And if you go login routes, we go through this API/register, we can see that there's a first flag here. So what it means that uh, at their server, at the same line of code, it has this flag, exactly this flag. So you need to get it, you need to somehow find a way to get this flag from their server. So I'm mimicking their server, which using this Docker instance. Uh, if we go through the web page, we see something like this. And if you read the code, we can see this is going to API/register route. We can try to go to that route, and we can see method not allowed. So when we are accessing the page like this, it's using get method. Means that this method is not allowed for this URL. What we need to do is intercept this web page. Okay, intercept it, send it to repeater. So what repeater does is you don't need to keep intercepting the URL. You can just send it repeater and do your testing here. So we click send. We can see method not allow. Means that we need to change the uh, request type to post method. So you change to post method, we can see we get another HTTP code, which is 415 unsupported media type. And you can see here there's a little error code here. So did not attempt to load JSON data because the request content type was not application/JSON. So what we can do, we can add the content type application/JSON. Yeah, and here we can see 400 bad requests, fail to decode JSON object. Means we need to pass something here, to pass in data here, which is the JSON data. So we can go to the code here, and we can see that ensure needed parameters are present. So we can see why they return us error is because that we did not pass in these parameters. So we need to pass in email, username, password, and Bitcoin wallet. So we can pass it in uh, email, username, right? Yeah, username, test, to test, and password. And lastly, the Bitcoin wallet. Let's say we pass in ABC. Okay, we can click send. So we can see still receiving bad request, password doesn't fit length requirement. And if we go through the code, we can see here, ensure password is valid, length, password length must not less than 12 uh, or more than 255. So we need to give them a good amount of password length, 714. Okay, and send again. You can see invalid Bitcoin wallet. Go through the code, we can see that here, ensure Bitcoin wallet is valid. So we can see it using the regex regular expression to match the input that user pass in. So it needs to start with 0x, then 0 to 9, A to F, capital and lowercase behind. Can do something like uh, 0x, and that's it. We can send. Oh, I already test it using just now. So duplicate email, duplicate again. Oops, 1 2 3 4. Yeah, we can see we created an account for this by using these parameter and values. But how we can get the flag, right? How because we need to somehow supply something here to crash the application and get the flag. So by going through the code, we can see here getting 4 parameters, 4 variables: email, username, password, Bitcoin wallet, and uh, we can see it checks for the ensure parameters are string. So username is string, password is string, Bitcoin wallet is string, and it also checks that ensure that email is valid. So if the email is not valid, then it will return 400. And it also checks for the username. So what we know is it checks for this: ensure parameter are string, ensure email is valid, ensure username is valid, check if username is duplicate or not, password must not more than 12 and less than 255 in length, and ensure Bitcoin wallet address start from 0x. And what it doesn't check for? Duplicate email. Actually, it does. Just now, uh, it has a duplicate email here. If you send it again, one, two, yeah, it does check for the duplicate email. So, but it doesn't check for the length of the email and Bitcoin wallet length. If we go to the, let me go to here. If we go to the SQL file here, we can see that the email it only give 128 in length. Means that we can we can supply the email, the length of the email that is more than 128, because the application itself doesn't check for the email length. So what we can do is we can do something like Python 3 print, let's say a times uh let's say 150. So we got this, and we can supply it to here, and we can click send. Yeah, we can see it gives us an error: data too long for column email. Means that uh, the application crash. So how we can see the response? We either can click this render page, or we can right click, show response in browser, copy this link, go to your browser here, and we can see this error. Okay, so remember that the flag itself is here. It's under line 48 here. We go to the browser here. Uh, you can do Control U to get the raw code, and we can search for it. So BYUCTF. Yep, here is the flag. So let me put it here. Oops. Yeah, here's the flag. So this is how you get the first flag. And yeah, we can go through the second challenge. That's for the first challenge on how you can get the flag. Uh, so the app itself, because when they give us a challenge, they put multiple flag across the application. So you need to find it yourself. How do we find it? There's one way to find it. So go to here, cat or wait, we can do grab this parameter, dash HNR, and we can do BYUCTF, or we can do something like fake black 2. Yeah, we can see it is under line 43, ticket routes. Go to ticket routes, line 43 here. So it's under this function called API tickets, the routes here, post create tickets. We can go to that directory, go to that route, and we can see enter not allowed again. What we can do is we go to proxy, intercept this, oops, repeater, and same thing. We need to change it to post, and we can see token is missing. So what token exactly is the, if you see here, there's let me see, token. Yeah, token required here. This is when we have login routes and we see login. And when you log in, then they will give you a token. We need to pass in the token to able to use the API tickets routes to be able to create the tickets. So how do we log in? API login, API login. Same thing, intercept it again, send to repeater, post, send, unsupported media type, add the content type to application JSON. And what do we need for the values, JSON value? We need username and password. And what I did is forgot the, oh, here's test 1, 2. Go here, put in the username, and put in your password. Copy, paste, yep, send it. Oops. Okay, let me register it again because I forgot. Send. Yep, here we go. We can see the token here and we can see one flag here. If you go to the login routes, we can see here. This is the fourth flag that will be coming back later. So we're gonna go through the second flag first. What we need to do, copy this token and go back to tickets. Go to here, put cookie and token equal to this. If you click send, yep, same thing again. Content type, application JSON, and what we need to input here. If you go to the tickets, we can see message. Wait, not here, below. We need a description. So if description not in request.json means if you did not pass in this description inside the JSON data field, they return us 400. Go back here, put in description, And let's put some, this is a description. Send. You can see uh, the ticket created. So if you go back to the SQL file here, we can go to this description, and if you notice that this is varchar with a length of 2048, go back to ticket routes, we can see it does not check for the length of the description, meaning we can overflow the value and crash the application to get the flag similar to the first flag. So what we can do, go here, go back to here. Instead of printing 150, we want to print 2048, right? So 2050, let's say. Copy this, go back to this, the intercept that you created, paste it, send. We can see data too long for column description. Same thing, show response in browser, copy, go to this response, uh, Control U, and we can find the flag. So here, remember to check length limit. That's the second flag. Okay, on to the third flag, same thing. We need to find the third flag, and it's also at the ticket routes, but at the line of 81. Go back to the ticket routes, go to line 81, you can see fake flag 3. And we can analyze a bit from the code itself. This is add message, and we can see this is slash API slash tickets, then the ticket ID. Just now we created a ticket, right? So here, API ticket, and we need to pass in the ID of the ticket here. What we can do is, just now, we can see ticket ID 1. This is a description. Go back to the browser here, slash API slash tickets slash 1. You can see token is missing. We need to pass in the token. It's okay. We can intercept this. Send to repeater. Copy it from your previous intercept repeater session. Yeah, so we can see who created this ticket by user with ID of 7, what ticket ID is this, and message. So message is we need to pass in. We need to supply the value, and message will be here. So if we see here, uh, if message not in request JSON, return us 400. So we need to do is change this to post request, because we are submitting requests for these messages. Post content type, same thing. We need to change it to JSON. If not, it will return us error. And we can do messages. Let's say this is a message. Send. Oops, it's not messages, it's message. Send again. You can see this is a message. So we can see it does not check for the length again. It only check for the ensure parameters are string. I think they made a typo here, not integers. Because wait, let me try to supply this. Yeah, you say invalid parameter data. So you need to ensure that the what you supply is string. So it does not check for the length. Go back to the SQL file. We can see messages, same thing, not more than 2048. but the application does not check for it, we can crash it, copy this, the previous one, put it here, send. Same thing, data too long for column messages. Show response in browser, copy, and can control U, or you can right click, view page source, and find the flag. Yeah, and here, oh, it's better not to use it like this. It's better to open DevTools because there are some weird character will be showing. Yeah, here, edit, copy, and we got our third flag. Here. Okay, moving on for the fourth flag. Yeah, fourth flag is just now what we saw, which is the flag uh, from the login. So we see login route here, and okay, so here's the login. Here's the login. Check if user is staff. Invalid username or password if the password is not equal to hash from the database, or if the user is blocked, then it shows user is blocked. And if you successfully log in, you get the flag here. And with the condition of, if the length of the username is less than 4, then we show no. Which what we have just now. Go back to the login and send the request again. We can see no. Means you need to have a username of less than 4 characters. If you go back to register and we put something like ABC, send, we can see invalid username length if we supply less than 4 characters. Because if you go to the where's the go up. If you see here, ensure username is valid from the register routes. You can see the username must not less than 4 characters, must more than 4, then less than 255. So how do we actually uh, successfully bypass this filter? What we can do is something called uh, null embedding. So let me show you this embedding null code from OWASP here. You can see we can inject this null value to, so we can inject this null value to the input that we pass in. Uh, you can see here this while example.com. Let's say we have a parameter or whatever, and we want to get the file of etc psswd. Uh, if we don't have this null bytes, then probably you can't get it. One way to bypass this is to inject this null value at the end of the code, then the application doesn't do proper validation, so that it will actually get this file and show it to you. Yeah, it's quite interesting. So how we can do it here is we can inject null value like this /u00. It's either 0x00 or /x00 or /u00. So when I'm doing this, I just pass in /u00. Uh, so if you click send, cannot, then pass it again, send, that request. We can see invalid /u xxxx escape. So I see this 4x and I'm like, how about let's pass in two more zeros behind. Click send. We can see we successfully created the user. If you go to login, uh, copy this, go to login, type ABC. We can actually ignore this uh, now byte, and we can have this ABC, then our password. Click send. You can see we get the flag. So let me show you. Let me copy the flag first. Let me show you how it looks like inside the database. Uh, so let me see. Can list the container here. We need the container ID dash. I'm inside the uh, MySQL Docker container. Log into the MySQL and you grab the password. The password is here. Not here. Here. Yep, we are in. Show databases. You can see the CTF here. CTF database. Use CTF. And show tables. Because there are a few tables here. What we want to see is users. So select all from users. And yeah, we can see here. This is our latest created account. We can see there's a few empty column, empty spaces here. So when they read in, they will put these two extra uh, now byte that we passed in just now. But when they read out, they just grab the ABC, uh, ABC only. So one thing to how to mitigate this is when the application is receiving input, right? You need to do something like strip. So you strip out the unnecessary spaces from left to right. So let's say user do something like, let's say this is an input, so user do something like this. So if you do the strip function, then it will strip out the spaces here and here. So it remain this one. Means we cannot bypass that. Yeah, this is how we can achieve this by getting the flag. Yeah, this is a fault flag. On to the last one. Last one also quite interesting. So same thing, go to here, find the last flag, grab it. You can see it's under account routes. Go to the code, account routes, line 88. Here, the fifth flag. And we can see it's under the function of post add bot. So adding bot function. Same thing, copy this route, go to the route here. Wait, let me see, is there any question? Okay, cool. No question. Okay, if there's any question, you can leave it in the chat. And yeah, method not allowed again. Go to proxy, intercept on the repeater. And yeah, method not allowed, post request, content type. Okay, give me a second. Okay, application slash JSON. Send, token missing, same thing. Go to the previous here, copy the token, the cookie token. Send. Bad request, expecting value. So go back to the code. We can see that we need to see what what parameter that we need to pass in. Ensure needed parameters are present. You can see OS and IP address. So we need to pass in two things. OS. Let's say, yeah, we can see validate OS, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Let me pass in Linux, and we do pass in IP address. Let's say I pass in 1.1.1.1. Send. You can see bot ID and payment. And go back to the code. We can see how they validate the IP address since the flag is here. And I suppose that uh, we need to do something either with the OS or the IP address. So we can go back to the SQL file that they provided. Go down, we can see there's OS here and IP address here. OS with varchar 32 length, IP address varchar 15 length. And by looking at this SQL code here, we can't overflow this OS variable, this OS parameter. It's because they already set it. So any other than these three would be invalid OS. Then it leaves just this. So you can see they validate using IP address, and pass the IP address in. So if we do something like, because we do something like echo 255, then we do a word count, we can see this is 15, need to minus 1. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is 15 in length. If we pass in more than 15, we can try this. So 255, delete the rest. See, it can go through. 257 also can go through it. Yeah, something like 257, I don't think it can go through. Yeah, invalid IP address. So how can we bypass this? If you notice that it does not check for either IPv4 or IPv6. So if IPv6 is more than 15 length, if it's IPv4, then it's 15 in length. So we can actually go to here, search for, yeah, you can, this is a valid IPv6 address. Copy this and we can pass it in. Yeah, we can see data too long for column IP address. Same thing. Show response in browser. DevTools. Control F. You can see the flags here. Here, flag 5. And how can we mitigate this? Is go back to the code here. Account routes. Yeah, we can see it validate using IP address, right? So let me show you guys this thing. Python 3. We can import the IP address library and do something like this. Yeah, it will return us this. Uh, One way to mitigate this is instead of using this IP underscore address, this validate both IPv4 and IPv6. We want to use this. So copy, go to here, if we pass in the IPv6 that we have just now, and it will return us error, it's because that is not IPv6. It's not IPv4. So let me change this back to the normal function. See, it still go through IPv6. Yeah, so if they want to only filter out IPv4, then need to use this function instead of this. This filter both IPv6 and IPv4. Yeah. And oops, actually here. Yeah, for the web challenge 2, it does not check for the description length, and for the web challenge 3 does not check for the length of the message. 4 is the how do we use null byte to bypass the filter. Usually it's 0x or /x or /u. Uh, and yeah, what we can achieve by using null bytes is we can bypass a filter or maybe do some uh, string termination that will leads to buffer overflow or database exploit. Yeah, many more exploit I've seen that can achieve by using these null bytes. And lastly, the last challenge, it does not check for the IPv6. Yeah, I think that's all for 5 challenge. Is there any question on the floor? I can answer that if you guys have any questions. If which part is not really understand. All of them are the actual intentional solution. Yes, all of them is actual intentional solution. Just want to ask how we can run Docker container for challenge. Oh yeah, this one. Um, okay, so usually when organizers or challenge creator, let me just shut down this container. Uh, okay, so usually when they give you the challenge file, it will supply you this Docker compose and Docker file and this app and database, the file that needed for the challenge itself. So what we can do is we can just run Docker compose up, and it will grab all the necessary uh, data from the file and then just run it for you. So it will pull a lot of stuff like MySQL packages and all those necessary packages to have an Docker instance. So you can just do sudo docker compose up. And if you want to see the current Docker container, yeah, we can see this is the container that I up just now. If I stop it, and then you will not be seeing the container anymore, but you'll still be seeing the image list. Yeah, so you can see this created 9 hours ago, 3 days ago. This is the image that they pull from the repository. Yeah, I hope I answer your question. And yeah, the all these challenges are actual intentional solutions. Does the challenge description shows any sign of it? Does the challenge description no. When I am doing this challenge, actually does not have any leads because when I run the application at my local instance, I only notice that there's a debug mode on, so that oh, I actually can crash it. Yeah, so the rule of thumb is you need to go through every file of the challenge It's a challenge that they provided you. So go through every file and uh, look at the smallest detail, like you know what thing they check, what thing that doesn't check. So yeah, it will provide you some information that leads to code crash. So with the Docker files and the source code, why can't we just search for the flag instead of crashing the app? Oh, you are right. Let me show you. Let's say we have a API dot register, right? Oh, I should just shut down my instance. Wait, up. Okay, we can go to slash API slash is it register? Yeah, it is right, email. So if you go to the F12, you can see there's nothing. And let's say that we intercept it. The post, copy everything here. Send. Oops. Table. Yeah, I have a error here. Yeah, this morning when I set it up, I also have error. So if you see this error, right, the table user doesn't exist, how you can fix it is you can just go to Docker volume list. So you can see there's a two volume here. This is the my this is the SQL data being stored here. So we need to clear it to let the Docker to rebuild the MySQL data. So delete, do it again. Okay, it doesn't do justice. It's okay. Uh, yeah, if you register right and you successfully register it, you show it to the browser, you can't get the flag. It won't show you the uh, the commented flag here. Let me see where's the flag. Yeah, here right, line 48. It doesn't show you the even if right now you see. Sorry, my headphones keep turning off. You see these parameters, ensure needed parameters are present. If you go to these routes, it won't show you. So by crashing the code, then you can get the flag here. Now by crashing the code, what you get is here, and you do DevTools. Yeah, we show you each line of the code, and here's the flag. Yeah, hope I answer your question. What if we explore the Docker container of the app? Oh, when when you're exploring the Docker container, right, they won't give you the flag. They won't give you the flag here. So let me show you this. They will give you the they will give you the fake flag instead of giving you the real flag. So even if you host it at your Docker instance, it will still uh, you will still get the fake flag. You won't get the real flag. Yeah. Yep. Is there any question? Yeah, the rule of thumb is to go through each line of code to see whether there's there's something the developer uh, you know they purposely made this vulnerability. Then yeah, sometimes it's very how to say, I forgot the word in English. Chinese is called it's very direct. Yeah, yeah, obvious. Yes, yes, obvious. When you see it, then yeah, it's very obvious. Yep. Thanks. Forgot the word. Oh, and yeah, any else question? If not, I'm going through the last part. And yeah, here's the reference of the now code. You can read more at OWASP's webpage, and I've uploaded the challenge here, so you can download it, or maybe you can just go through the official website. I think it's called this. Yeah, here's the official write-ups done by the organizers. All the challenges are here. Can go try it out. Yeah, just a jailbreak and a lot more. Yeah, so here's the challenges. Yeah, just go through the yourmumbotnet.com. Yep, let me send this to the chat. If you want this challenge, here you go. And yeah, if don't have any question, then thanks for coming. I hope you learned something. It's quite interesting how we can crash code like this. Yep, I think that's all.